उसनू डंडे पिछू दी 8 बंदे हो रहे डंडे लै के उस बच्चे नू मारिया गया, उसका सिर पकड़ के पोलट के मारिया गया। वो बच्चा 22 साल का फिर भी दौड़ दौड़ के अपने प्यो नू चक रहा सी। पहली वो स्पीकिंग ऑफ हिज फादर, उन्होंने गद्दी च बिठाया उसने, और फिर हजिंदर ने पापा ने बेटे को दूसरे पासे ले जाके कुटिया और गड्डी का दरवाजा तू मुक्के मार दो। और फोटो है बेहोश पे आ है मेरे हस्बैंड गड्डी उन्होंने मुक्के मारी जा रहे हैं। उस पर उसका दरवाजा खोल गया, दरवाजा खोल के बेहोश हस्बैंड ने थले गिरे, उससे बाल खींच के उसके अंदर तेरी ने आपसे नहीं करता ना, थले गिरे हुए बेहोश बंदे ने।
Good evening. By now, the country has seen these images that have shocked everybody who has seen them. An army officer, a serving colonel of the Indian Army, Colonel Pushpinder Bhatt, and his son Angad were assaulted by the Patiala police. 12 suspensions have since been ordered, including that of 3 police inspectors. This after Jaswinder Kaur, the wife of Colonel Pushpinder Bhatt, identified the men and said she could recognize each one of them. This assault broke out over, believe it or not, a parking dispute near a dhaba. At first, the police tried to blame the colonel and his son, but as more and more damning evidence started emerging and there was mounting pressure from the military community and a sense of public outrage, the truth was established unequivocally. You can see from these shocking images, not just from the CCTV camera footage, of how the injuries were inflicted. The accounts are chilling. Jaswinder Kaur was on our platform just in the last few hours, breaking down in tears as she spoke about the fears she felt that her son could have died, that her husband was not spared by these police officers, even as he lay passed out on the ground. The family has said that the colonel and his son were thrashed for 45 minutes. They were, according to Jaswinder, quote unquote, abused, tortured, and harassed. The policemen had evidently returned that evening to enjoy an evening off after a successful encounter. And among the things that they threatened the family with, the officer and his son with, was a reference to how they had done one encounter and they could easily do another. In other words, they were threatening Colonel Pushpinder and his son Angad. Now, on this platform, you heard from Jaswinder, the wife of Colonel Pushpinder, and today I want to bring on our screen now one of the victims of this assault. The son of Colonel Pushpinder, Angad Bhatt, is with us. He's among the 2 men who were assaulted by the Punjab police, and you saw those images of him injured. He actually received an injury on his head, among other injuries. So, Angad, thank you for sparing time to talk to us. I can't imagine how traumatic this whole experience has been for you. First, let me start by asking you how you're feeling right now. Are you better? We hope you're better.
I'm better now, ma'am. The injuries are recovering now.
Angad, can you tell us, of course, your mom was on our show and she told us in great detail, but you were right there. You were the person who actually got beaten, who got thrashed. Can you take us through what happened one more time, please?
Ma'am, we had left from Delhi for Patiala at 6:15 after my dad's office. And we had reached Patiala around 12:15 at night. So it was too late to go home and ask for dinner. So I'd asked my dad, let's go outside and have a packet of Maggie. We had gone to that nearest dhaba. It was outside a hospital, Rajinder Dhaba. And we were having our Maggie there. The Maggie was kept on the boot of the car. And we both were standing there. And while we were having, so from the opposite side, the police vehicle came. In the vehicle, there were around 4 SHOs, inspectors, and their gunmen. So they told us, "Gaddi side te kar lo, nahi ta latta chuka dange." That basically means move your car, otherwise we'll get your legs lifted. So dad told me move the car. I was going towards the driver's seat. In that time, dad told them, "We'll move the car, but this is not the way you speak." So on this, while he was having a conversation with him, there was another subordinate of his and another inspector. He had come and punched my dad. My dad had hit the car's dicky and he had fallen down. He was unconscious completely. These 4 to 5 men continuously kicked him in his state of unconsciousness. When I saw it, I ran back. I didn't even move my car. I ran back to save him. In that time, eight, nine men of theirs, they picked me up. They took me till the hospital's gate, 30, 40 meters away from the car, thrashed me continuously, made a circle around me, hit me with batons, hit me with punches and rods. And when my father gained conscious, he came to help me out. They again hit him more. You can see the videos where I have put my dad back in the car. They opened the door, pulled him out, again tried to punch him, punched him inside the car also. They have hit us terribly for 45 minutes. They have accused, in the end, they had given us, they have accused us, saying in the end, making a video, that these people were eve teasing girls here. Whereas a father and son will never be going and eve teasing some females. And in the video, you can see there are no females there.
Yeah,
And ma'am,
actually, they've said all kinds of things, and but the details are chilling about how they came with rods and bats, how they beat your father even as he lay on the ground unconscious. They have tried to blame you in particular. Initially, they tried to say that "आपने हाथ पहले उठाया," right? You would have seen that. Then they tried to say that you and your father were drunk. I mean, your mother was talking about all this, about how they're trying to spread these false narratives. So how do you respond to that?
ma'am, I have just shared my medical report of 1:35 a.m. with your team, where it is
Yes.
clearly written, where it is clearly written that I was not under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, ma'am, if the thrashing got over at 1 o'clock and 1:35 a.m. I'm getting my medical report done, which says I was not under the influence of alcohol, first statement gets nullified that I was not drunk, my father was not drunk, we guys were not having drinks. Second
Yeah.
statement, ma'am, that I have hit them. I would have never hit a uniformed man because my own dad is in the uniform. And ma'am, if someone hits my dad, it is self defense if I go and try to protect him and pull him out. In that
Hmm.
situation, if some pushes they have got and they call it as hitting them, can two men hit 12 men?
Yeah.
Two
The
men
medical
cannot be
report, the
pouncing.
medical report you refer to is on the screen, and I think that is the operative question, that they were 12 and you were two, right?
Exactly, ma'am.
So what happens then? You react when they come, they hit your father. I
Ma'am,
believe they were also quite abusive.
ma'am, they were very abusive. My father is a person, he has never hit me in his life. He never uses any any violent language or any type of inappropriate language anywhere as it is. And ma'am, he was completely calm in that situation. The images which you have just shown, these were the police inspectors who had come and hit us. They were not tying their turban then. They all are kutsals and they were walking around them. They were drinking in the police vehicle. I have also told them, you all are intoxicated. Please leave my dad. My dad
Hmm.
told them he's an army officer, but they continuously hit him. In the end, they told him, we are taking out your officery which you have inside you. And ma'am, they are not policemen. They are gundas wearing police uniform and going around. They have tried to threaten my mom. They have tried to get links through political links where they could contact us and tell us to compromise. They have gone to their SP. Their DSP has told us to compromise. Today, the suspension of their suspension is done, ma'am. The time the suspension is done, after that also these people are using police vehicles and everything inside the city. How does it give them the right to use all of it?
Yeah. So you are saying that your medical report proves that you were not under the influence of alcohol, but in fact, these men who you say were not in their turbans, they were in civil clothes at the time? Were they
Yes,
in
ma'am.
civil clothes at the
They
time?
were in
So
civil
they were
clothes.
they were in civil clothes, they were not wearing their turbans, and they were drunk and they were drinking inside their vehicles?
They were drinking.
How did you get to know that they were intoxicated? Like, how did you get to
Ma'am,
know that?
I could smell alcohol from them. The way they were
Hmm.
speaking and behaving. They were in the air of power. The way they were, the attitude they had inside them, hitting bikes and everything and telling people to move away. They are not protectors, ma'am. They were gundas which were coming.
Yeah. And the men we see on the screen are some of the men who targeted you.
These were the four top men, ma'am. The one whose photo is the bigger one, he's, I think so, Harjinder Tilno. He's one of the persons who has hit my dad so much. The guys behind him, they were continuously hitting us. I have somehow managed to save my dad. Otherwise, he won't have even survived the way they were hitting him.
You think your father could have died?
I personally feel that. I feel they would have. He was unconscious, and if someone is unconscious, he has injuries, and you keep hitting him, till when will he survive? He's 52 years of age now, ma'am.
How are you feeling mentally?
Ma'am, I'm mentally harassed. My mom has cried from last 3 days sitting at the police station till night 1, and they don't write a FIR also, and the FIR they have written is completely bogus.
And initially, the FIR was written against unidentified people. I don't know if that's still the
It is
case.
still the same, ma'am. It was just a eye wash for the people that we have put some FIR. Ma'am, the FIR should has the dhaba owner lost any property? Has he had any losses? Does it even involve him? Why is the dhaba owner so interested to go and write a FIR? It is just a eye wash by the police that we have taken out one person because that guy has to run his business there.
Tell me, now that these 12 suspensions have taken place, are you more hopeful of justice? Your mother was feeling very down and out when she was talking to me, and she
Ma'am,
said that, yeah, tell me, you tell me.
Ma'am, these are all culprits in hand till the top level. Even if you ask for justice, ma'am, for 3 days, my mother, my father have spoken to the SSP. Why didn't he give the suspension then? Why did the Lieutenant General Bish sir had to get involved to get the suspension? When the suspension, after his involvement, suspension could come within 6 hours. Why for last 3 days it didn't come? Why the SP came and met my dad after the third day? Why not first 2 days when he spoke to him also? And why were they covering up things then and telling us to compromise? The DSP, when he gave the phone and the iCard back to my dad asked for a receipt. He says we don't give receipts.
Hmm. Did your father or you convey to the policemen that that this was a serving colonel of the Indian Army?
Ma'am, our car is symboled with the army badge, first thing, which is very evident. Second thing, my dad told them in the beginning that he's a serving colonel. While they had our iCard, they knew it was a colonel and they continued hitting us.
Hmm. So they knew that they were hitting a serving colonel. They knew that.
Yes, yes, it was just that they were so drunk and high that they couldn't, they were not in their senses. They were just getting angry and frustrated on everything they were hearing.
And you are saying that despite the suspensions, you are not hopeful of justice.
Ma'am, they all are hands in hands, ma'am. They all, if one person will
They're
speak for
hand
one
in glove.
person,
You're saying they're all
they're
hand
hand
in
in glove,
glove.
exactly. So if one person will speak for one, if suppose one person takes a stand and gets them suspended, any further actions, they will attack him also with evidences. They all are hand in glove. So they are supporting each other to save themselves.
The SSP has now apologized. What do you make of that apology?
Ma'am, what do I do with an apology when my dad is in the hospital?
Hmm.
Can the apology bring my dad back from the hospital? No, it can't. Can it get the same respect back? No, it can't. I want all of them to be dismissed from their service because these kind of people are not required in the forces.
Now, as the son of an army officer, your mom was telling me that, like she said, that for him, his pride is everything. And for any soldier, his uniform is all about his izzat, his pride. And
Yes,
he
ma'am.
wants his pride back. As the son of a Fauji who was right there getting beaten yourself, as the son of a serving officer, wait, what would justice look like today? How will your father's stolen pride be restored?
Ma'am, I personally believe uh, they should be removed from their service. That once their uniform is pulled down, they will understand what pride and what ashamed, how ashamed they will feel. Similarly, he would have felt ashamed that day when they were hitting him. And ma'am, I don't say his pride has come down because anyone who is unconscious and 12 men are beating, he could not have stood up and beaten them
No,
back.
no, of course, but he's been disrespected as a soldier. He has been
Yes,
disrespected, right? That's what I,
ma'am.
yeah.
Ma'am, the politicians in Punjab have to see why there is no statement by Bhagwant Mann till now. Why the Aam Aadmi Party is not given any statements on this?
I believe your mother even tried to call the CM's office.
Yes, but they were too busy to have any meetings with us, ma'am.
And have they reacted now?
No, ma'am, they haven't.
Has anyone reached out to you from the state government, from the chief minister's office to inquire after your father at least?
No, ma'am, not yet. Gurtesh Dhillon, a BJP spokesperson who is our relative, from the beginning till end, he has been with us, irrespective of his goals or anything, just because he's my mom's sister's husband. He was the only
Hmm.
politician there the whole time. But yes, others now, when the case has got escalated and highlighted, they are saying, we are with you. If it will happen, we are standing with you. Where were you when this case happened? Now
Now
when it has
tell
got
me,
escalated,
yeah, tell me when your father was unconscious and he was lying on the ground and these people, the police men were coming with their dandas and their bats. Where were you at that time? You were trying to struggle with them to save your
I was
father?
trying to struggle. Then I came to my dad somehow. I lied on top of him that he should not get any of the hits and I can get as many as I can. After I put him inside the car, I even told them, I said, hit me for as long as you want, but don't touch my dad. But they didn't even stop once. Ma'am, they had brutally hit us. It was an assault where they have tried to an extent where a person could have even died. And for them, what is it? They would have just put two guns or two drug packets near us and say they would have seen us smuggling drugs
Yeah.
and said, hence
Yeah.
we encountered them.
Are you feeling angry today or scared today or saddened today or a combination of all three emotions?
Ma'am, I'm scarred but not scared. I don't know how to be scared. I'm fighting for this and I want justice to be done.
I think that's spoken like a true soldier's son, that you are scarred but not scared. I learned from your mother that this team had also come back from a so-called successful encounter, and one of the things that they were, being arrogant about was "हम encounter करके आए हैं, आप लोगों को भी देख लेंगे," and this threat was actually given in the police station itself. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Ma'am, for an army officer, his I card is very important for him. So, ma'am,
Yeah.
when they pulled my dad's I card, so my dad, even after all of this, was saying, please give my I card back, please give my I card back. Even I was telling them to give my dad's I card back. So they told me, एक encounter करके आए हैं, अगर कल सुबह तक जिंदा हो गए ना, आके ले जाना I card.
So
This is their statement.
they actually said, "अगर कल सुबह तक जिंदा होगे."
Word to word, they have said this, ma'am. And ma'am, if they have the audacity to say this, you can imagine what air they would have been in.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, it makes my blood boil listening to this, and I can't even imagine how you're feeling. How's your father feeling mentally? It's one thing to fight the enemy at the border, it's another thing to fight another set of uniformed people. As you said, you're the son of a Fauji, you would never have raised your hand, unless you had to save your dad without provocation on a man in uniform or a woman in uniform. How's your father feeling?
Ma'am, he's happy about how army is supporting him, how people are
Hmm.
taking a stand, how our
Yeah.
citizens are behaving. But at the same time, he's very ashamed by Punjab police and the way things are happening in Punjab.
Yeah.
More than, ma'am, today, because he was an army officer, this case has been highlighted. Today, while we were coming to Chandigarh en route, he was telling me this only. कहते, if it was a civilian son or some ordinary person's son, he wouldn't have just come to know also, and these people would have done so many things.
And tell me, this abrasion on the back, the image we're seeing, ye kaise hua?
Ma'am, they have hit me with batons while I was trying to protect, while I was lying down on top of my dad, that he doesn't get hit. So they were hitting me with batons.
So you were lying, your father's on the ground, you're
Yeah.
trying to protect him, you're
I
lying on
stood in
top of
front of
him.
him while he was
Huh?
lying. I stood in
Huh?
front of him that you continue hitting me for as long as you want. Don't touch him.
And those abrasions on your back are because they were hitting you with dandas, with
Right, ma'am.
batons. And these batons they were carrying in their car with them.
Ma'am, they had so much of the time because they said we have hit them first, but they had so much time after all of this happened. They have sent their men to the car. They have taken out batons. While, ma'am, there were 12 of them. Even if six are hitting us, three, four have gone, taken out batons from the car and come, and they have started hitting with batons also.
It's just shocking. Tell me, what are you all planning to do next? What are your steps for justice?
Ma'am, they have asked for 45 days in which they will be getting the whole inquiry done. Let's see what the inquiry's result come up. And in this meantime, let's see how people advise us. Our close by people are advising us. Similarly, we're going on more steps ahead.
Finally, Angad, before we let you go, what would you like the people of India to know or understand about this whole episode that has taken place, this shocking assault that has taken place?
Ma'am, I think so by now, especially the people in Punjab who are watching it, they already know the situation of Punjab police in our state, and they know the what respect and what things an army officer would be doing. Ma'am, and secondly, if they're accusing us of having Maggie, uh, no one would be having a Maggie and a whiskey together. That's a very stupid logic altogether.
Yeah. And an army officer certainly doesn't
Yes,
need to
ma'am.
stand on
He
the
could
road
have
and
just
do
gone to
this.
his mess. He could have gone to
Correct.
any of the mess and easily sat there and had. He does not require to go to a dhaba at 12:15 and eve tease girls by having Maggie and whiskey.
Are you worried that in these 45 days, are you worried that there will be an attempt to manipulate the facts?
Ma'am, I'm not worried. I'm very sure it will be done.
You're very sure that the facts will be
I'm
manipulated?
mentally ready that they'll be doing everything possible. After the SSP statement, after 3 days, the dhaba owner has got reminded that he has to come and give a statement on media. From last 3 days, he had no statement, and suddenly now he has all scripted statement where he is coming and saying, "Don't drink." More people are coming. Then the police has come. Within 2 minutes, while we were standing there in the video, we have reached there. After 2 minutes, police came. In that time of duration, public has come and requested us not to drink. Dhaba guy owner came and requested her, and my dad told the dhaba owner, "I am a colonel, so I am allowed to drink." And after that, ma'am, the police has come. So, ma'am, all of these stories are just made up. They are trying to manipulate everything possible.
So, what are you going to do to get justice for yourself and your family?
Ma'am, I think so. We have enough evidences. They can blame
Absolutely.
anything. You can blame us for drinking. What punishments are given for ma'am drinking? Is a grade 3 treatment given for drinking? You can put a legal action that they say I have hit them. Then why have you hit my dad? If I hit you first, so you should be hitting me first. Instead, you'll go and hit my dad. So it makes no sense.
I think the outrage among people, all right-thinking citizens, Angad, is so intense and so enormous that I don't think the Punjab police or these men, don't want to generalize about the entire police force, but these 12 men can be allowed to get away with this. We will keep following every development in this story. We wish your father a speedy recovery. We wish you a speedy recovery. We wish your mother all strength. She's been a real fighter in this. She's been no less of a
Right,
soldier.
ma'am.
She's been out there fighting. So all our best wishes and support with you, and let's keep us posted on what happens next and look after yourself.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Take care, Angad.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.